So children, after completing types and functions of flower, our next topic of the chapter is mechanism of sexual reproduction in plants. Sexual reproduction in plant involves the following steps like pollination, fertilization, dispersal of fruits and seeds, seed germination and formation of fruits and seeds. So let's start with the pollination. So children, what do you mean by pollination? The process of transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower. So as we know that anther is a part of androecium, that is male reproductive part, and stigma is a part of gynoecium, that is female reproductive part. So the process of transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination, and it is the first step for the formation of seeds. So what are the types of pollination? Pollination is of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Now the question is, what is self-pollination? Children, in self-pollination, pollination occurs in the flowers on the same plant, and it may take place in any of the following two ways. What are the two ways? By transferring of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower, or second is by transferring of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of another flower of the same plant. So this comes under the self-pollination. Next is cross-pollination. Cross-pollination occurs between the flowers of different plants of the same type, and there is transfer of pollen grains from the anthers of one flower to the stigma of another flower of two different plants. So children, this is all about the self and cross pollination.